it's Jona, and today I am so excited because we have a guest. It's my first guest for DCOMmentary. My guest is Amanda, and I'm going to kick it over to Amanda to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Amanda Shake. I'm the host of Retrospective-a-Rooney, a Liv Maddie podcast, and in said podcast, I refer to myself as self-proclaimed Liv Maddie superfan, expert, etc. And I've been a big fan of Jona's videos for a number of years now, so I'm super excited to collaborate and to do this today.
Yes, awesome. So we are going to be talking all about Liv and Maddie. I am so excited. It's going to be awesome. Yay.
Shall I get us started?
Yes.
Well, Liv and Maddie is especially an interesting show to talk about when it comes to history because it has one of the most interesting origin stories of any Disney Channel show that I can think of. So starting off with that, it really started with Andy Fickman and Betsy Sullinger. Andy Fickman, you may know for directing movies like The Game Plan and She's the Man. They later went on to become executive producers of Liv and Maddie. So they had a deal with Disney with their company Oops Donuts to make theatrical films. And they met with Adam Bennett, who at the time was the EVP of original programming for Disney channels worldwide, about developing a show for Disney Channel. And fun little personal aside, I have actually met with Adam Bennett a few times thanks to my film school. So shout out especially to Betsy, because a lot of this info is coming from my interview with her. And when she mentioned him, I'm like, oh, I know that guy. So he suggested doing an animal show, and they came up with a show about a family of veterinarians that was kind of inspired by Betsy's sister, who was a veterinarian. Disney directed them to John D. Beck and Ron Hart. At the time, they were writers on Shake It Up, which is another one of my favorite shows. They suggested them as writers for the show, and they said yes. It took lawyers about a year to make everybody's deals. So after that year, unfortunately, the animal quota had actually kind of already been satisfied at Disney Channel. They had Dog with the Blog, and just as long as we're here, here's Stan. This was actually a prop on the show. So what? We have two guest stars today.
A cameo. We love the cameo.
Yes. This guy was actually, just not to go too much on Dog with the Blog, but he was a prop in an episode of the show that I won at a special event a few years ago.
That's amazing. First of all.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, Dog with the Blog kind of satisfied that, as did Mrs. Kipling on Jessie. And quick shout out, sadly, Frank, the lizard who played Mrs. Kipling, recently passed away. So dedicating this to Frank.
Yeah, Frank. Oh, I didn't know that. That's so sad.
Yeah, as of when we're filming this, I think it was just yesterday. So R.I.P. Frank.
Yes, Frank, we love you. Shout out to Frank for being an incredible actor.
Yes, what an amazing lizard.
I'll never forget.
Again, that kind of satisfied the animal content, so they needed to come up with something different. John and Ron came up with the show Bits and Pieces, which the title kind of sums it up pretty well. It was literally just focusing on like the bits and pieces of a family's day that were like the funniest. So it was a really like segmented show in that sense. What's interesting about this though is that it was pretty much the entire same cast as you know on Liv and Maddie. Dove did not play twins. Dove Cameron played one character named Alana. She was actually discovered at a Burbank High School show choir performance by the casting director, which Betsy said was really interesting because it's pretty rare that Disney will find a kid that they don't know. Like they know people all across the country. So it was really surprising that they found someone so talented that wasn't on their radar yet.
Yeah, wow. And thank goodness they did.
She actually hadn't done a lot prior to Liv and Maddie. She had guest roles on shows like Shameless, Malibu Country, and The Mentalist, but that was about it. Joey's character, Joey Bragg / Joey Rooney, was Sticky. Kali Rocha played Jody instead of Karen. And Pete and Parker had the same name. So Benjamin King and Tenzing Trainer still played Pete and Parker. And then there was one other cast member that did not move on to be in the main cast of the show proper, Liv and Maddie, which was Cozy Zulsdorf. Excuse me. She played the sister Crystal. And you may know her from being in the DCOM version of Freaky Friday that came out in 2018.
Yes, I loved it.
Yes.
The music was really good in that, but that's a whole nother subject. Maybe someday I'll talk about
another episode.
Yeah.
But she actually was in a couple episodes of Liv and Maddie. She played Ocean, and she was in 2 episodes as Liv's friend in season 1. So the show was kind of about a blended family. So you have 2 families that were kind of like Brady Bunch style, combining into one family. So you have Pete, Alana, and Sticky, and Jody, Crystal, and Parker now under one roof. Like I said about the segmented format, it was a really unique concept. And when they tested the show, people weren't really sure what to expect from episode 2. And Disney didn't really think it was high concept enough. Like we're used to shows with like psychics and pop stars and wizards, and there wasn't really something like that was a pull in this show. So they were looking for something like that. So Gary Marsh, the president and CCO of Disney Channels Worldwide at the time, he was a big fan of the Patty Duke show. And Patty Duke, that's a little bit before our time. So for a little history on that, Patty Duke played identical cousins in that show. So it was one girl playing two. And that led to Liv and Maddie's premise, where one girl was playing two. And Disney only gave them a few months to change the show to this. They wanted a bit of a musical component with the show, and that led to Liv being like a singer and an actress. And they wanted the other twin to play a sport. Maddie's sport was actually originally fencing, which I think is kind of ironic given that Dove still had to learn like fencing / sword fighting for Descendants. So she didn't get out of that.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even put that together.
Yeah. So a lot of sports in her career so far.
Yes.
But of course, Maddie's sport ended up being basketball. Fun little fact, Maddie's original name was actually Heidi, and Liv and Heidi doesn't roll off the tongue in the same way.
No.
And another interesting fact about Dove developing the show and developing her characters, she wrote journals for Liv and Maddie, and she made playlists for them. And when she switched from one character to the other, she would listen to those playlists to help her get into character. And the story that she has told in her interviews of the moment when she found out that the show had been picked up was that she was on the LA freeway. She got a call from an unknown number, and that meant she knew it was Disney. And she picked it up, and they said, "Okay, so your show got picked up. By the way, you're playing twins. Bye." That's how she summed it up, and the rest is history.
The rest really is history. I mean, all of it happened the way it was meant to happen, because what we ended up with was so great. And I think it's really interesting that Betsy named the Rooney family after the family that owns the Pittsburgh Steelers, because she's a big fan. I'm from Pennsylvania, and so
oh, cool.
Yeah, Steeler country is strong in Pennsylvania, let me just say. And so I feel like if people knew that, they would watch just because of that. The Steeler fans, that's how you tie in football fans.
There you go. Well, you got to spread the word around Pennsylvania.
No, I really do. I think this resurgence, we could get a revival.
Liv and Maddie premiered on July 19th, 2013, after the premiere of Teen Beach Movie. As I know Jona has talked about, a lot of DCOM premieres were connected to show premieres. That kind of helped the overall viewership go up. It got 5.78 million viewers on its premiere. Did you watch the premiere?
No, like I don't know why, because I definitely watched Teen Beach Movie. So I don't know like what happened. Maybe I was tired.
Yeah, no, that's happened to me where like sometimes I'd watch the show but not the movie, or vice versa, because I got too tired or something.
Yep, I regret it. I definitely regret it. When I was looking at this, I felt shame in my soul.
Well, I did watch the premiere, and actually we'll talk more about like our personal tie-ins a little bit later, but I went in pretty blind. I knew about Teen Beach Movie. That's what I was planning on watching. My best friend and I were planning on watching that. And when I was checking the TV guide a few days earlier to see when it was going to be on, I'm like, oh, there's this show I'd never heard of. I guess it's premiering afterwards. Hadn't seen a single commercial until the night of, like during Teen Beach Movie. They're like, coming up next, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I really liked it to start off with, and that's where I'm going to leave it now. We'll come back to that later. I'm going to keep you on the edge of your seat. So talking about some more fun facts about the cast and the show, people have wondered if I've seen TikToks about this, if Parker is supposed to be adopted because he is a person of color while the rest of the family is white. John has talked about this on Twitter, and I've talked about him. I've talked with him about this on my podcast, that he always assumed that Parker was adopted. He himself grew up in an adoptive family, but he didn't feel the need to draw attention to it, just kind of normalizing it, making it seem like one big happy family and no different than any other family, which I think was a really, really smart way to do it. And sometimes they would work with Tenzing's dad to make sure nothing was said that was culturally insensitive, which I think was also a really smart way to do it.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
This fun fact, I kind of drew from your High School Musical video where you talked about Luke Disgrabiel and Kenny talking about if Ryan was gay or not.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on Twitter about a year ago, Dove said that she thought that Maddie was gay and that Liv was bi. I don't know if this is something that like she thought of while on the show, because I think in the case of High School Musical, that was something that was like thought of while they were doing it. Right. I don't know. She hasn't really said anything else about this. But I still love that as a queer person myself, and as someone who has headcanoned those characters to be queer for a number of years, I was happy with it.
Yeah,
even
I remember,
if it's not canon, I'll take it.
I remember seeing those tweets, and it was like a really big deal. It was super cool. So to me, it's canon. I don't know.
If she says so, I think that's enough.
Absolutely.
Of course, Maddie's iconic catchphrase is "Bam, what?" And Dove herself came up with that, which I think is very, very cool. Moving on to other characters, Joey's character was very much based on Joey in real life. I mean, you got the name to start with. I remember when I talked with Betsy, she said that Sticky was like not quite as similar to Joey, and they're like, we have this really funny kid right here. Let's make a character based on him in real life. So loving cats, being a like pop culture nerd, that's all drawn from Joey Bragg into Joey Rooney. And Joey Bragg does stand-up comedy in real life. And in season 4, Joey Rooney starts to step into that. And the stand-up that you see Joey Rooney do on the show was actually written by Joey Bragg. And excuse me for going back and forth between the Joeys. I hope this makes sense. It does get, it becomes a mouthful.
Yeah, definitely. Joey was, well, maybe not my favorite character, but definitely very high up there. And I always said that Joey, the actor, was very underappreciated. I felt like he brought so much to the show and was so talented. And I just felt like he needed more love. So here's the love. Take it.
Putting it out there.
Yes, I love Joey. And Joey's real life girlfriend, Audrey Whitby, guest starred on 4 episodes of the show and played a character named Aubrey, which is very
another confusing name.
That is incredibly, I can't imagine being on set and being like, Audrey, oh wait, Aubrey. Like, I would mess that up so many times.
Same. Joey's another favorite of mine. And I think one of the things I really love about the show that if anyone's listening that's listened or watching that's listened to my podcast, forgive me if I'm repeating myself on the podcast, but that like, I love the lead characters, but I also love the recurring characters and the side characters. Because there are some shows where it's like, I really like the lead, the side characters are fine, like they're just there. Or like, this side character is really funny, the lead's kind of annoying. But this is a show where like, I really love everyone. And I remember to start with, like, I love the twins, but I also love Joey. Like, I could see a lot of myself in Joey. So, and I could see a lot of myself in the twins too. So
yeah.
Again, shout out, love for Joey. He deserves it. Of course, when talking about this show, the big novelty of the show is the fact that one girl is playing 2. So to talk a little bit about that, it was done with acting body doubles. If I remember correctly, I think that was at least partially Dove's choice, because they said like, we could do this in a few different ways. We could do green screen. We could have like someone just stand in. And she said, no, like I want someone to emotionally act off of. And I think that really helped heighten her performance. So good choice. Yet another underrated, unsung people who I try to draw attention to in my podcast are the body doubles. So Emmy Buckner was Liv 2 and Shelby Wolfert was Maddie 2. You can actually see their faces in the show a couple times in the Froyo Yolo music video, and they played Linda and Heather respectively.
Oh, Frollo Yolo. I forgot about that for a hot second.
I wish I could. I don't think I ever will.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this, but I think at almost all of Dove's shows on her little mini tour that she was just on, someone would bug her about Froyo Yolo, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
And then she actually sang a bit of it at one show.
Yes, Froyo. Yeah, I can't even say it. That's how amazing it is.
So many tongue twisters.
Froyo
Yolo.
We're gonna leave it at that.
But yeah, I love that if this fandom can agree on one thing and have solidarity around one thing, the fact that we will bully her into singing Froyo Yolo, I think that's beautiful.
Yes.
Basically, if you see Dove's face and the back of the other twin's head, or Dove is like hugging another twin, the other one is the body double, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you see both of their faces on screen, Dove did have to shoot the scene twice. So picture Dove as Liv, Shelby as Maddie, and then Dove, or it could be the other way around, Dove as Maddie and Emmy as Liv, and then they edit them together. So they were edited together by Chris Poulos, editor on the show. Huge shout out to him, another unsung hero. There is a line that the actors can't cross to keep those like 2 film versions separate, and they can't move the camera. Got to keep it in one place. And wigs were also used to help with the visual difference and keep Dove and Emmy and Dove and Shelby looking like the same person. There's a really great video about this that Disney Channel used to air around season 2 of Liv and Maddie. It's called Liv and Maddie Let the Cloning Begin, and maybe Jona will throw the link in the description.
Oh, for sure. I love that video. I've watched it many times. I remember when it used to run, but then I rewatched it and I was like, this is everything to me. I love the little like behind the scenes stuff. That's so cool.
Same. And like people will ask me, because I've been to live tapings and stuff, they're like, how does it work? And I'm like, I'm really glad this video exists because it's an easy way. It's like 90 seconds long. It's a very easy way to explain to someone, this is how it works. So like, I can't tell you how many times I've been like, here, watch this.
Yeah. And I've done like doubling myself in videos. And I mean, I'm not doing it on that caliber, but it's a lot of work. So definitely shout out to that editor that you named.
Chris Poulos.
Chris, Liv and Maddie changed to Liv and Maddie Cali Style for season 4, kind of like Hannah Montana became Hannah Montana forever. It was always kind of like, what is the reason? But Ron has said that it was the start of a new chapter, which it definitely felt like. I mean, they feel like different shows. Like, I don't know, the vibes are different for sure for me.
I've often said that Liv and Maddie Cali Style kind of feels like an epilogue. Like, I feel like the greater story of them in high school finished at the end of season 3 with like their relationships and voltage and stuff like that. And Cali Style was a bit shorter, and it went into Liv being on Sing It Louder, Maddie being in college, and like, where are they going to go from here?
That's a great way of putting it. It was the first Disney Channel series to have a season set after the main characters graduated high school, and only the 7th live action Disney Channel series to have a season 4. Now I think some are going to 5. I believe Bunk might be in their 5th, and Raven's Home might be in their 5th.
Can we, between the two of us, let's see if we can name all the shows that got 4 seasons.
Oh no.
Wizards, Hannah Montana, Raven.
I was about to say Raven.
Austin and Ally.
Yes.
Jesse.
I was gonna say Sweet Life, but they changed the Sweet Life on deck.
Right.
So I'm confused.
Liv and Maddie. And yeah, I mean, like, Bunked in Raven's Home, technically.
Yes.
Like, that's everything.
Yeah, there's some
Good Luck Charlie.
That's it. Yes, it was bugging me. Oh, Good Luck Charlie. Stay tuned for Good Luck Charlie episode.
Yes.
In the series finale, this blew my mind when it happened. In the series finale, it was revealed that the Rooneys were filming a French reality TV show to showcase Liv's family life called Bits and Pieces. What a callback.
It's all connected.
I mean, I didn't see that coming. I remember watching the premiere of the series finale and just being like, wait, what? But it was pretty clever. I don't know. I thought it was fun. It kind of reminds me of The Office.
And like, it explains everything, because we've been seeing these cutaways for the whole show up until that point, and now we know why they're there.
Yes, I wish that we could see like bits and pieces, you know, like
with the dubbing in French.
Yes, that would be so good. Everyone take my idea and run with it. I don't even need paid. Just do it.
Do it, please. Another fun fact about that scene is that the show is the producers that are working on the show in the Rooney's backyard are Betsy and Benoit. Betsy, of course, is a call to Betsy Sullinger, and they're played by Dove's mom and Tenzing's dad.
Oh my gosh, I love it. It makes it even more iconic.
I think that when I watched the finale, I had seen pictures that John had tweeted of like the director chair or whatever that said Bits and Pieces. I didn't know the context though. And one of my favorite stories to tell, I watched the finale at 3 a.m. in a New York hotel room, because this was when episodes would go up at midnight, but midnight was 3 a.m. then, which I wasn't used to because I'm on the West Coast. And I was like, my mom is sleeping in the other room, and I'm like trying not to scream and all these things happening.
Oh, it was emotional too.
No, I was crying for sure. No, I had to wake up my mom because I was crying so hard.
Definitely.
So I know you like to talk about merchandise and stuff like that, and video games and fun stuff like that have been made. And I already showed you Stan, but I have a little show and tell for you. I have a couple things.
Oh my gosh.
The soundtrack of Liv and Maddie was released in March 2015. Unfortunately, this has been a little bit broken by my cat's.
I've been there.
There's the inside.
It's so pretty.
I remember pre-ordering this on Barnes & Noble because I was so excited. So, and interestingly enough, 3 of the songs on here, Say Hey, As Long As I Have You, and True Love, they were on the soundtrack before they premiered in the show. So like, those who listen to the soundtrack were like, what's the context of these?
Oh, that's so cool.
And then we have 2 junior novels, both of which were released in 2015. These are just, each of them sums up 2 episodes of the show and are written from the character's perspective.
That is so, I had one for Lizzie McGuire. that was kind of similar.
Like I have the Hannah Montana ones and the Raven ones. Like
Love
all the
it.
you talk about like the Scholastic Book Fair or something?
Yes.
Because I remember getting those at that. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
There was also a designed clothing collection, which was, I don't think they still do it, but it was like Disney Channel shows would have these clothing lines at like Target and Kohl's and stuff where it was loosely inspired by those shows and their fashion.
Yeah, they did one for Girl Meets World, and I bought one of the dresses in like the XL, kids XL.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, because it's like, these are all kids' clothes. What do we do?
I rocked it. I loved it.
Good for you. I regret not getting those. So if I
made
ever
it work.
come across those.
It was a little small, not gonna lie, but I made it work.
It's worth it. It's worth the effort. Another thing I know you've talked about is like the real life relationships between the cast and like Zanessa and stuff like that. So as many of you know, Dove and Ryan McCartan, who played Diggy, dated for a while. They started dating in August 2013. They got engaged in April 2016. And I remember that day. I was at the opening night of The Jungle Book at the El Capitan in Hollywood. And I checked my phone right afterwards, and I got a message from my friend that they were engaged. And they called off their engagement in October 2016. I was in a screenwriting class when that happened. I remember that. Dove was in Canada at the time filming Descendants 2, and that was after they had shot the finale. So they finished shooting season 4, and shortly after that, Dove left to film Descendants 2. In a Radio Disney interview, they said that they actually didn't really get along at first. And the first thing that Ryan said to Dove was, or something along those lines.
Beautiful.
Speaking of Diggy, Jordan Fisher actually also auditioned for Diggy. Oh, Jordan Fisher.
I deeply love Jordan. I'm obsessed. I've talked about this. He's on my Celebrity Crushes video. He's everywhere. I cannot stop thinking about him ever. Anyway, go ahead.
I was just talking about that with my mom, and I remember I was just making this joke. I remember your Instagram post about To All the Boys I Love Too, where you had like the thought bubble with Jordan Fisher, and I was like, you could crop out the book, and that's just me at any given time of the day.
Yeah, that's me every 5 seconds of my life. I love him.
Well, the good thing is that he did actually end up being in the show in season 2 as Holden Dippeldorf, and would continue to appear in the remaining seasons of the show.
I loved Holden so much.
Me too.
So much. And oh my gosh, the piano ballad of True Love. Like, I have no words.
I saw a tweet that was like, what if Jordan Fisher came on Dove's tour and they sang that? I'm like, you're not allowed to joke about that. I am not stable enough for that. And then Dove joked about it because someone was like, sing True Love. She's like, wouldn't it be funny if I just brought up Jordan? I'm like, do not.
I would pass out.
You
can't joke about that.
No, I think my introduction to Jordan was Teen Beach Movie, but
same.
I forgot that he was in that when he first showed up in Liv Maddie, because he has kind of a minor character. But then when I rewatched the movie, I'm like, oh, Seacat. Yeah, his hair was different. So that was
still amazing, always amazing. Sophia Carson from Descendants, of course. I don't need to tell anybody watching this that. She also auditioned for the show. I'm not sure like what role it was, but I found this fact and I thought it was really interesting.
Well, she did end up working with Dove.
Yeah, I like to think that she auditioned for one of the twins. I don't know, but whatever it was, I'm sure it was an amazing audition. And I always say that I wish they would release the footage of these auditions, like Joe Jonas auditioning for Wizards of Waverly Place. It's got to be out there somewhere.
This is on our list of requests for today. So give us the French, give us the real bits and pieces, and give us these auditions.
Absolutely.
I feel like there's some alternate universe where Sophia Carson plays Liv and Maddie, and like, I don't know, Dove is Evie and Sophia is Mal or something.
Yes, there definitely is. The variants are out there for all the MCU people. Here's the part where I mess up people's names. Just gonna warn everybody because there are some tough names here. Other notable reoccurring and guest star people include Jimmy Bellinger. I hope I said that right. He is from The Middle. I've recently watched The Middle. It was an ABC sitcom. I'm on season 9. I'm almost done. But he is in a lot of it. Like, he's a reoccurring character on there. And every time I'm like, oh, it's you.
It's Artie.
Yes. And he's so similar too. Like, the characters are very similar. So
I remember him being in a Skittles commercial.
So do I. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Blast from the Past. He's everywhere, really.
He is. My one of my best friends, who's like my Liv and Maddie buddy, who I talk about a lot on the podcast, Janelle. Before one of our classes started, she was just on her phone, and the Skittles commercial came up, and she's like, "It's Artie."
Everywhere. Shaq Gotcha.
Gotcha. Yeah, close enough.
Gotcha. So close. From Girl Meets World. That was the coolest thing ever. I believe, if I'm remembering right, I saw him on Girl Meets World first and then saw him on Liv and Maddie. Miranda May from Bunked, of course, was on a lot of Liv and Maddie, at least for some time. Was she there the whole time?
She was there for a chunk of season 2 as Lacey on the basketball
I couldn't
team.
remember if it was like 1, 2, and 3, or if it was just 2. They all blended.
I think it was just 2. But yeah, then Bunked premiered when Liv and Maddie was still in season 2. So I feel like that's happened a lot, where like how Madison Who was like on a few episodes of Best Friends Whenever, and then she went on to be in Bizarre Bark. Like that'll happen a lot, where it's like
they do that. They definitely, like China Ann McClain was on Wizards. I think, or Ann Farm. It's like they always test, which I think is kind of cool.
If you see a recurring character on a show, be like, what are they going to star in? They're probably going to star in something. Yeah.
Oh, Josie Toa. She's awesome. She was on iCarly and Jessie and Spider-Man Homecoming, which is the coolest ever. What a gig.
Fun fact about her, she went to the same college that I went to.
That's so cool.
Speaking of what we were talking about earlier about like the cast and their relationships in real life, this is one of my favorite things to talk about. A lot of the side characters, the recurring characters, Joey is he's a main character, but outside of Liv and Maddie, if we're talking about that group of actors. So people like Jessica Marie Garcia, who played Willow, Joey again, Joey Bragg, Joey Rooney, Shelby Wolfert, Maddie too, Lucas Adams, who played Josh, Victoria Morales, who played Andy, Shaq Gasha, who played Dump Truck, we were just talking about, and Audrey Whitby, who played Aubrey. They're a really tight-knit friend group, and they call themselves the Valley Vigilantes because they all live in the Valley. Aforementioned friend Janelle, we made hats for them that said Valley Vigilantes. And cool. They have a softball team, and like we would see them wearing the hats and stuff. Shelby and Lucas are currently engaged, which makes my heart so happy. So that's Mosh in real life. Mosh lives forever.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until I read this.
They just got engaged like a couple months ago. I was in Disneyland with my mom, and I like screamed at her. I'm like, Shelby and Lucas are engaged.
That's so sweet.
I'm so happy for them. And that actually reminded me, we were talking about ships and Liv and Holden, and towards the end of season 4, it was hinted at that Liv and Holden would likely get back together. And John and Ron, if you're watching this, Liv and Artie did not get together after the finale. Liv and Holden did. I don't care what you say. I am sticking with that, and I'm sure you would agree with me.
Yes.
So this 2 against 2, but I know I have more people supporting me. So you're wrong. Just reminding you that you're wrong. Yes. But if I have to compliment John and Ron, they actually performed Jessica Marie Garcia's wedding ceremony, which I think is so sweet.
That is so sweet. I am emotional about this information. Like, I'm still not over the engagement thing. Oh, I can't talk about Liv and Maddie at this time in our lifetime without saying that Linda and Heather is having a huge moment on TikTok. The song is everywhere. I can't scroll without seeing it. It's everywhere. It's constant. And like big stars are doing it. Like I
think Selena Gomez did it.
Yes, I saw.
It's like multi-generational Disney Channel.
I can't even believe it. Linda and Heather were named after 2 producers. So here we go with the names again. You should probably say them if you know how.
Sure. They've been on my podcast, actually. So Linda Mathias and Heather McGilvery-Myman. And they have done the TikTok. They have done the trend. So
no way.
I will send you a link to that, and you can put that in the description.
I'm so excited.
As have Shelby and Emmy have done it too.
I did see that one. That was, yes. I commented, I boosted it. I was like, let me give this engagement. So that
as you should.
Yeah, the real one,
Speaking of Linda and Heather, it was Shelby and Emmy because they played Linda and Heather, as we were saying.
Which Linda and Heather is another show. Can we just get like Linda and Heather spinoff?
Here's our spinoff.
It was right there.
Exactly. There are so many potential spinoffs. Like you can make a full show of Voltage, Sing It Louder, Space Werewolves movie, Linda and Heather. Like, why can't we just have all the spinoffs?
Or
I don't see why not.
Fro-Yo-Yolo.
The movie.
Yeah, the movie.
Fro-Yo-Yolo, the musical.
I'm writing it. I have no talent, but
Mom is like, her eyes are like rolling back in her head just at the thought of this.
Oh well, too bad.
As far as personal experience with the show, I have to give my short version because I can and have gone on for hours.
We love it.
Well, like I said, I did watch it premiere, and I, like some people will say, like, I got obsessed right away. That, nothing against the show. I'm just not usually the type to like get obsessed with something right away. Like, especially TV show. I feel like I need to like get a feel for the characters and stuff.
Right.
So I did watch the official premiere, which I believe was September 15th, 2013. Because sometimes they'll have like the preview, even though it's like a full episode, after the movie, and then they'll have it like move to its regular night.
Right.
So from Friday to Sunday. I did lose track after that. I had 2 catch-up nights in November and December of that year, and from the beginning of 2014 onward, I never missed an episode. As season 1 went on, I was like, think I'm starting to get obsessed with this. Think this is my new main fandom. And by the end of season 1, I'm like, okay, yeah, it is for sure.
Yes.
Funny timeline in 2015. So on August 15th, 2015, that was the weekend of D23 in Anaheim. And I met the cast. I met Dove first. I went to a Descendants meet and greet with her and Sophia and Cameron, and sobbed my eyes out. And I was dressed as Maddie. I was in a Maddie cosplay.
Oh my God.
And I'll have to send you these pictures in my video and stuff.
I will cry.
And Dove was crying. It was a whole thing. And then like 2 hours later, it was the Liv Maddie cast meet and greet. So Dove, I'm like, hi again. And we got a video of us all saying Bam What together. And it was like the best moment of my life.
Yes.
I didn't know it at the time, but that was actually like what would be the beginning of my life with Liv and Maddie. So what's funny is I'm from Arizona originally. So I came out to Orange County for D23. I went back to Arizona for all of a week and then came back to Orange County to start college. So permanently. Wow. If that week hadn't been there, it would have been a lot easier. But we're like, we're going to go back, get packed and whatever. So I moved out to California, where I still am today, in late August 2015. And because of that, I could go to live tapings more easily. So I went to 5 live tapings of Liv and Maddie, Home Run Rooney, Sorta Sisters Rooney, Linda and Heather Rooney, Tiny House Rooney, and Voice Rooney. And just for my sake, I do want to put out there, Jona and I talked about this recently. I had tickets for several more tapings that got canceled. There were 10 total that I didn't go to, 8 that got canceled, 1 that I got there as early as I could from class and I wasn't able to get in. And then 1 that I knew that the earliest I could get there was not early enough. So I just want the world to know, because like 5 compared to like 15 is a small number. And it took a lot of time and work to get those tickets. So it was not for lack of trying. So
wow,
putting that out there. I've been lucky enough to go to a lot of other cast events. I mentioned D23. There was a cast signing at the Queen Mary in Long Beach in late 2015. That was so fun. It was like super. It's funny because their Christmas event is called Chill, and it was very chill. It was like we got to like go on rides with them and like go ice skating with them. What? It was like just very casual. And like I try to support and see the cast and crew and everything that they do that I can get to. Like Jessica Marie Garcia hosted a concert one time that I went to. John Beck was in a play. Dove, I saw her in Mamma Mia at the Hollywood Bowl. Clueless in New York. I was at the first preview of Clueless in New York. I saw her in London in Light the Piazza, and then in LA again, Light the Piazza, and then of course I went to her concert a few weeks ago. So I wish there was something I was going to be able to talk about yesterday. Rena Strober, who played Becky Bickelhoff, Liv's agent, was doing an event at a theater venue that's like my regular theater venue in Orange County. And I was going to be able to talk about that, but it got rained out, unfortunately. But it's going to be rescheduled. So hopefully I'll still be able to go. But yeah, I mean, as is probably obvious, I can't say how much this show means to me. It's really my favorite piece of media to ever exist, and has impacted my life so deeply. Again, the short version of it is really just that I bullied pretty severely for my love of Disney Channel, and that led to depression and all that fun stuff. And Liv and Maddie was right around when it started. That was right around the time that I was like ready to come back, and that was really just what I needed right at the right time. And the way I put it then, that I think is the best way to sum it up, is that I forgot what it felt like to be as happy as that show made me. So I remember saying at the time, I'm like, this show makes me happy. Like, I feel like it has a deeper meaning in my life, but I don't know what it is. And looking back, that's all it was. That's all it needed to be. If something makes you happy, like in my first episode of my podcast, I said, like, a lot of things in this world make us sad. So if something makes us happy, it doesn't need to be more than that. That's enough. That's special. And of course, like, I've just been so fortunate. I'm so grateful to have had these experiences, getting to meet the cast and getting to talk to them and whatever. I don't take that for granted, and I treasure that. And as far as the show itself and like the message of the show itself, it's in a simple, innocent way. It's about like these two sisters, like their catchphrase is sisters by chance, friends by choice. And they genuinely care about each other. It's not forced, and they're very different from one another, but they still really care about each other. And as someone who, again, was told, like, if you have interests different than mine, then I have to hate you and bully you, this was like dispelling that rumor. Like, we can be different and still not only tolerate each other, but love each other and be friends. And I think, again, it's a simple message, but it really resonated with me. So all my love to the cast and crew of Liv and Maddie, and I love to be able to carry the legacy on with my podcast and doing stuff like this.
Yes, I'm gonna cry. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Thank you.
I can't, well, here I go following that. Basically, I didn't really watch the show at first, but then I started catching episodes just here and there, you know, like randomly. And then I think it was during season 2. I feel pretty confident saying that I started being like, oh man, I really like it. Like, I'm going to have to set up a series recording and really commit. But I'm so glad I did, because it was just, it's one of my favorites ever, honestly. And that's why it's so early in my list of things to talk about, because there are so many DCOMs and there are so many series. And when I was looking at my schedule, I could have easily put like tons of stuff before this, but I couldn't, because it means a lot to me. Because like you said, it is like, it has like a simple message and stuff, but it's not, it's like, it's deep. Like, it's simple, but it's deep, and it just makes me feel good. And like the music I love, I still listen to pretty regularly.
Do you have a favorite song?
Oh, that's really hard. Well, True
Throw
Love,
your YOLO.
of course. I love True Love. I love What a Girl Is.
Yes. And that episode alone, that message was wonderful.
Yeah, that one is in a heavy rotation. But also,
as
like,
it should be.
Say Hey, super fun.
That's my favorite.
Okay, I love that one too. There's just so many, it's hard. And of course, Froyo, YOLO.
Let's just like go down the list here.
Yes, we cannot forget, because I feel like there is one I'm forgetting, but
I mean, the theme song, of course, is a classic.
Yes!
Better in stereo.
I haven't met anybody except for Tenzing, which was like super crazy because we were at VidCon on the floor, just in the booths, and my best friend was like, hey, isn't that guy from Liv and Maddie? And I turned around and I was like, oh my God.
So was he there just as a guest, or?
No, like, he didn't have a badge. Like, he was just filming. Like, I think he must just like YouTube. He was kind of just there. And I went up and I was like, I'm sorry to bother you. Like, I think you're just here to have fun, but can we just get a quick picture? So we just got a picture and that was it. But I was super thankful because it was when they were filming season 4. So it just felt really special. And even though it was only a 5-second thing, I cherished it.
Well, I certainly hope you'll get to meet more of the cast in the future.
Oh, I would die to meet Dove. Like, seriously.
Well, I was going to say, we're both big Dove fans, and this, I assume, was our introduction for both of us to her, and was really the world's introduction to her. And yeah, I can't stress enough how much she's changed my life. So I'm grateful to this show for introducing me to her. And because of this, like, she later on did Descendants and things like that. Descendants
is everything to me.
Same. Oh, like, no, I mean, Descendants is okay. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's all right, I guess.
Oh, this was so great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for having me on. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Yes, and everybody go listen to the awesome podcast that she does, because seriously, the dedication, the creativity, the love.
Thank you so much.
I will link it below for everyone. Definitely go over there. And yeah, I love you all. Stay beautiful, you people. Bye.
Bye.
Did you see the cat?
No, I missed it.
Oh my god, she was sitting on.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, it's because I have the notes like halfway cutting off the screen.
She probably knew that someone was there, and she's like, hi, I'm gonna be in this.
That's so funny. I'm sorry I missed it.